How's that feel?
Exciting.
I have to admit, I feel pretty safe with you driving.
Is this the beep horn?
No, this is a beep horn.
Can they honk it?
Yep.
Ah! What's up guys, my name is Mark, and in this video we're going to take a closer look at my weirdest, widest, and most wonderful lens in my collection. The super multi-coated TAKUMAR 17mm Fisheye F4. Now, fisheye lenses have a bit of a reputation for being gimmicky. Now, I can see that. The distortion these lenses render has a very specific look that's more fear and loathing than Pulp Fiction. It's definitely not the most versatile lens in my collection, but it is a lot of fun. And having fun with photography is definitely the most important factor. For me at least. It's a full frame lens with an M42 mount and an aperture range between f4 and f22. The minimum focusing distance is 20 centimeters and has a full 180-degree field of view on a full frame sensor. You get a lot of frame with this lens. The very tiny aperture uses 6 blades, and the optics are made of 11 elements in 7 groups. Now, the front element lens itself has a convex shape and actually protrudes out a bit. Now, you have to be careful with this design because that front element is more vulnerable to scratching. Now, because of this design, there are no filter threads on the end of the lens, so you can't mount any additional filters, step-up rings, or lens hoods. It does, however, have some built-in filters that are kind of neat. Specifically a Y48, which is a yellow filter, and a 056, which is a red filter. Now apparently the Y48 and 056 filters are great for shooting black and white film stock. Not sure how useful they are with digital photography. Probably should have tested that more. Now, like all Takumars, the build quality of this lens is superb, and the focus throw is actually pretty short at 90 degrees. Okay, enough about build quality. Let's jump into how weird and wide this lens is. Now, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. You don't shoot a fisheye on a full frame sensor and expect to get creamy bokeh. Now, there's very little separation between the foreground and background, even wide open at f4. Now this shot is as much as I could squeeze out of it. Now I did notice the image was a little softer at f4 with some vignetting present in the corners. But stop down to f5.6, the image becomes tack sharp and the vignetting vanishes. Just make sure you clean your sensor if you're shooting near f22 because it will show all the dirty details. Dirty. Now a fisheye generally curves straight lines, especially at the edges. So if you photograph round shapes with it, the curving gets less noticeable. Now place your subject too close to the edge, and the distortion becomes a little bit of a nuisance. Now you can use these properties to your advantage in certain circumstances to give meaning to an image. Now, I'm still fairly new to shooting with one of these lenses, so oftentimes I just walk around looking at different shots through the EVF to see if anything interesting catches my eye. Now, if I could get up high, I imagine the curving at the edge of the frame could make a cityscape look pretty cool. I should try to get one of those. Now, We did go for a hike earlier today, and I managed to get a nice shot of Georgian Bay, and you can see the curvature at the edge of the frame kind of works in this shot. Now, generally speaking, I did find pointing the camera up got some pretty crazy line play, making for some interesting compositions. With such a large field of view on this lens, I did find shooting in less contrasted conditions to be a bit easier. The color rendition is typical of what I would expect from a Takumar lens at this point. Solid. Now, chromatic aberrations are present in high contrast conditions. You can see them right here at the edge of the CN tower. Luckily, it can be easily removed in Lightroom, so I don't find it a particular problem. As much fun as this lens has been to use in normal daytime conditions, it wasn't until I shot some astrophotography with it that I really started to appreciate what it's capable of. Now, I spent the first long weekend in August up north, away from the city, on my parents' boat for my dad's birthday. Now, knowing we'd be pretty far away from any sort of real light pollution, and given the fact it was a new moon, I thought it might be the perfect opportunity to test this lens in the Astro Field. I wasn't disappointed with the results. Despite being an f4, the images this lens captured were really cool. You can see the distortion is quite heavy on the horizon, but the focus of the shot is definitely that Milky Way, which, because of its large field of view, you get a lot of it. While I was out getting these time-lapse shots, my brother-in-law Kieran captured this moment where my daughter and I saw her first shooting star. I don't know, that's just something that will always sort of be with me. Now, I initially picked this lens up as a bit of a collector's item. They're not readily as available, and you pay a bit of a price for that when purchasing it. Now, I've been having a lot of fun with it because it can create imagery that isn't possible with a normal lens. Now, if you're shooting on a crop sensor like an APS-C or a Micro Four Thirds, you lose a lot of that fisheye-ness, and it actually makes a pretty decent wide-angle lens option. It's definitely not a lens for everybody, but if you find one for a great price and feel like challenging yourself a little bit, go for it. Alright guys, well that's it for this video. If you have any additional questions or comments regarding the lens, leave them down below. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hello in YouTube land.